Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to give you a small review on proportions and slope before we do our proportion review and slope review and have the quiz tomorrow. Okay, so let's look at number 7 here. Miss Baker paid $2.50 for 5 pounds of bananas. Okay, now we're not going to worry about writing an equation right now. Okay, how much would Miss Baker pay for 8 pounds of bananas? Well, we can use a proportion to figure this out. Now, if you remember when we talked about setting up proportions, we're talking about y over x. Okay, and we're going to set it up to another proportion, a ratio, all right, which is the same way, y over x. Now, I know in the past we've talked about y over x quite a bit, all right, and determining which value is y and which one was x. Well, when we talked about money, where did I say that it went? On the top, right? So if she paid $2.50 for 5 pounds, we can write that as $2.50 for 5 pounds. Okay, now we want to find out how much she's going to pay for 8 pounds. Well, I'm going to make another proportion. I'm going to set it equal, okay, because she's paying the same rate. So my pounds are on the bottom, and in my second proportion, that's what I know, 8. Okay, I don't know how much it's going to cost, so I'm going to use, well, let me use y up here instead of x. Okay, I'll use y for the cost. All right, now we have it set up. Okay, money on the top, so that's where we want it to be. Money, that's where money needs to go. All right, and then pounds on the bottom. Okay, so whatever's on the bottom on this side, your units, in this case it's pounds, it needs to be on the bottom on this side. Whatever's on the top needs to be on top of this side of the proportion. So now, if you remember, we cross multiply. Okay, and I'm going to use different colors here just so we know. So now I have 5 times y, that gives me 5y. Okay, and that's equal to, well, 2.50 times 8. Okay, and that should give us, if I'm not mistaken, it should give us 20. Gives us 20. Okay, now what we need to do is solve a one-step equation. So all I need to do is divide the number, my coefficient, which is the number with the variable. I need to divide that on both sides. So that leaves me y is equal to, well, 20 divided by 5 is 4. Well, what's y stand for? What is that $2.50? Dollars, right? So it cost her $4. Okay? So there's just an example how to set up your proportion, okay, and then solve it. Okay, now we're going to do an example of slope, okay. You had this example yesterday, or this question yesterday, on your assignment, but I want to go over it again, okay, because you can be given a table. Okay, you can be given a two ordered pairs. Okay, so in this case, if we just look at number 2, all right, I'm not worried about what the question asks right now. I just want to go over it. So we have the number of yards, and we have 1, 2, 3, and number of feet, 2 or 3, 6, and 9. All right, so we're not sure which one is x and y unless we look over here. All right, number of feet is on my y-axis. So this is my y. That means my x is this. All right, if I'm strictly given ordered pair, okay, and when you're given an ordered pair, it'll be these two these two and these two. Okay, so your ordered pair for the first one is 1, 3. All right, and I'll write it up here above here. 1, 3 because we go X first and then the Y. This one is 2, 6, and this one is 3 and 9. Sorry. Okay. Now, the first point that's given, okay, we're going to use that or whatever ordered pair is given first, okay, and then we will be using whichever the second one is. So I can just use this second one, okay. So this is the second point, this is the first point, okay. Now, if we use the change in Y over the change in X, okay, over change in X, okay, what that means is we're going to take the second Y, all right, so that second point, that Y that's in that second point, and subtract the Y from in the first point. Okay. All right. That also means that we're going to take the X of the second point and subtract the X of the first point. So, all right. So I'm going to write it down here, what it's going to look like. So I circled this in blue. Okay. This is my second point. So I'm going to put my second point like this: Y over X. So what's the Y in my second point? Well, that's 6. And I'm going to put it over the X in my second point. Well, the X in my second point is 2. Okay. Now I'm going to look for my first point. And I'm going to subtract my first point. So I'm going to look at 3. All right, because that's my Y. So my Y1 is the Y in the first point. Okay, and that means that my X in the first point, so X1, so the number in the first point is 1. Okay, so you see how I've got them circled here in different colors. That's where they need to be. So this point came before this one. So this is how I'm going to set it up. And all I need to do here is subtract. So I get 3 and I get 1. Now we can write it, we can leave it 3 to 1, our slope, or we can write it just as, if this number is 1, we can just write it as 3. Okay, so that's how we do the change in Y or the change in X. All right, use this video to complete your review and on the quiz tomorrow. Thank you.